Good morning. Hi, Karen.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good, good.
I'm just writing down who all's here. Okay, for MCW's iPad, what's your name? I don't know your name.
Mark Wilcoxon.
Thanks.
No problem.
I'm giving y'all credit for being here. Okay. And then D Sheriff, what is your first name, please?
It's Diane.
Got it. So Diane and Tracy, if you can turn on your video, please, that would be great. Thank you. Jackie, what's your last name? Oh, I think you're muted.
Rademacher,
How do you spell that?
Rademacher.
Got it. All right. That's everybody that we see for the time being. And can you all see my screen as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, let me get up here to the beginning. And here we go. So you are all in session number 8, capture leads with social media. Is that where you intend to be? Make sure you're all here because you want to be.
Yeah.
All right. So today's agenda, and hang on one second, I'm going to close the door here. Okay, so I'm here in the Conifer office with the lovely whiteboard background in the training room. And let's see, most of you, I don't know. So I'm going to give you a little bit of an introduction. I don't think any of you have been in a class with me before. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm Sally Ball. I'm in the mainly out of the Conifer office, but work Foothills, so KW Evergreen. I specialize in land. I head up our KW land division up here. I'm also a member of luxury. So I work about 10 different counties altogether. Don't go north much. Those places get a little weird. I mainly go from here, west, east, and south. I first got my license back in 2003. And in 2000, and I was with another company, the Balloon. And as actually how I first met Kevin Wilson, he was there then. A lot of the original investors here in KW Foothills all came from that office. But in 2007 and 8, when everything crashed, I was the poster child of things not to do in a shifting market. So I was strictly a buyer's agent, horrible business model. Especially as it becomes more of a balanced market, or if it does go to a true buyer's market, it's a horrible place to be. You drive a lot of people around and spend a lot of money on gas and don't make a lot of money. So focus on listings. The other thing is I had no idea how to get my own leads. I knew nothing about generating leads because I was on a team. And if we had any listings, it went to the lead that I was on. And if it was buyers, she gave us buyers. And so I actually never knew how to generate leads. So again, what not to do. So it's that thing, if you can't be a great example, be a horrible warning. So we're going to talk about ways to lead generate today through social media. One of the things I have been very, very successful with Facebook. And what started all that, I put together some numbers just to give you guys an idea. And I've taught a Facebook class in all 3 of the market centers. So both here at Foothills. Actually, I'm not sure I've taught one in Arvada yet, but I did teach one down in Castle Rock. And so we may do those again on a rotating, hey, come on in, Bree, a rotating schedule. Brianne Smith, the lovely, just joined us here in person. So yay, I'm no longer alone. Yay, thank you. Way to support. So I put together some numbers of what I have closed and currently have listed as a direct result of Facebook. And what I have closed so far, and this has just been then in the last, since 2017, maybe, so last 5-6 years, 5.6 million. And my current listings directly related to strictly Facebook is 3.4 million. All of that is through, none of that's through paid ads. All right, I do everything free. I will do paid campaigns for properties. I do not do anything paid to generate leads in social media. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to do that. What started it, to give you a brief history, is I did, when I first came to KW, after I reactivated my license, I did a postcard. I don't know if you guys can see that. It says basically, are you over it? And it has my husband shoveling snow and looking miserable. And it has our former team leader, Jeff Gerard, snow blowing and looking miserable. And it says, are you over it? It's a perfect time to sell your home. Call me for a free, we had just gotten literally a 2-foot dump. And so I thought, well, this is great. And we were getting heavy spring snows up here. Historically, in the foothills, when we have heavy spring stuff, people make it 2 years when they move up here. And then they go, I'm over this, I'm moving back down to a more saner climate. So I did this postcard, says, call me for a free consultation. I'm glad to help offset all the recent shoveling. All valid listing appointments get a free gift certificate to visit Aspen Park Chiropractic and Massage, who's next door to our office. So I mailed this out, and then it had just general title stuff on the back. Has your home value gone up? So I mailed that out to a list that I got from the title company of about 600 people that had lived up here for 2 years or less. The response to the mailing was, I got 2 calls, both said, take me off your list. So that was not my best use of marketing dollars. Sorry. If you're going to do postcards, first off, they're expensive, and you have to plan on a long term, because people have to get them over and over and over and over. So, Kevin Wilson has been very successful with postcards. He's been doing them over 20 years, right? And they just go out automatically. He has a whole autopilot system set up. It's brilliant, and that's his thing. All of his business comes through word of mouth referrals, those postcards, et cetera, because he's been doing it so long up here. When you're new, you want to look at what your budget is for marketing and see if that is a good idea or not. I decided not, because it was expensive, and I was on a budget when I started. But what I did do is take the graphic for that and put it on my personal Facebook page. I didn't have a business page set up yet. So I put it on my personal page, and a friend of mine shared it on her page. So key tip number 1, if somebody shares one of your posts, you'll get notified that they shared it. Go to their page and make and comment on it. So first off, like their post, and then make a comment on it saying, hey, thanks for sharing this, or if whatever is appropriate for whatever they did, whatever the post is. That way, if somebody comments on their post, their share, you will get notified. So that's what happened here. And Bree, are you logged in? Yeah. Okay. If you go to the office calendar, okay, there's a link there for Ignite. And that way you can see the screen that we're looking at. So, so I shared that postcard. My friend Billy shared it on her page. So I went there and said, hey, thanks for sharing it. Well, next thing I know, a friend of hers, Shelly, commented on her page saying, I am over it. And I'm tired of only being able to ride my horse, a few months out of the year. And I want to move to Arizona. And I'm going to sell. This was in March, February, March that we did this. I think it was in March. I'm going to sell in July. So I sent her a private message saying in Facebook saying, hey, I'm the one that posted that post that you liked. And, as you know, I'm a realtor. I'd love to help you with selling your home when you're ready. So she actually replied back and said, I want to do for sale by owner. And I said, of course you do. And I said, well, I'm just as committed that you don't. But in the meantime, I'm glad to help you with anything I can do. So wound up, I asked her if I could stay in touch. So we messaged every little bit. She was doing some work to get the house fixed up, etc. And as we got closer to July, she called me and said, I still want to do for sale by owner. I said, I'm still committed that you don't. And she said that, and I had told her, I said, even if you don't use me, please use a mountain realtor because it makes a difference up here. And so she said, is your offer to take a look and give me some advice still open? I said, absolutely. So I went over there and I went in there as if I had the appointment, as if I had the listing, right? So like a regular listing appointment. So I asked her to, please show me around. Let me take some notes and see that, and then we'll sit down and talk. So this was 10 acres with a barn, nice horse property, beautiful little house. So as I walked around, I was saying, so I want to make sure my photographer gets a shot of this. I just treated it as if I had the listing, right? Or tell me about this, what size is your well, etc. So, and then I had all my homework with me, so like a regular listing appointment. So when we sat down to talk then, I'd asked her, I said, so what are you thinking? I said, first off, let's talk about the contract. And she's a very type A person. I said, you certainly are smart enough and driven enough to learn about the Colorado contract. It's about 17 pages long. Price is just one line item on there. But it's going to be challenging for you to learn all the rest of it. So for example, what should those dates and deadlines look like? If they give you an objection, what kind of strategies can you use to get around that? And so if that's something you're prepared to do, I said, that I can't help you with unless we have a listing agreement. But I'm certainly happy to give you some other tips. So then I said, what are you thinking about price? And she said, well, I'm thinking $650. And I said, well, I'm thinking you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And I said, if I were going to list it, I would list it today for $725. So that's the big difference. She was off. And I asked her where she got the $650 number. And she actually said from another agent that she'd had over that was a competitor of ours, Andrew McWilliams. And so from another company. And he kind of forgot to include the entire upper level of square footage. And even when she pointed that out, that he was missing 1,000 square feet, he and his wife had made it pretty clear they really didn't like the house and didn't think much of the property. And that's what they were doubling down and saying $650. So I told her $725. And she said, well, if you can get $725, you have a listing right now. And I said, well, I can't guarantee it, but I'd be stunned if it went for less than $700. So we put the sign in the yard she gave me the listing. While I was putting the sign in, a couple drove up, said, we want to make an offer. I said, well, it'd be better if you saw it first, come back with your agent. They looked at it, gave us a full price offer, and we closed for the full price. From there, she then used me to buy a house. A friend of hers contacted her and said, who did you use? Because you mentioned you were really happy with her, gave her to me. That client sold a house, bought a house, and sold another house, her parents' house, but sold and bought. Shelly's boyfriend sold his house with me. The second house that sold and bought, the people that bought that used me to sell when they had to move. And so I sold that house twice. And then some other people that were on Facebook as well that we had mutual friends also used me to sell their place. So that's all where that the 5.6 million came from. One of the things I did with Shelly, and this is a trick you can use, certainly, she and I had a lot of mutual friends. So she and I had never met in person, but we had about 5 friends that we knew together. And so I called all of them and said, hey, will you call Shelly and tell her how awesome I am? And they said, yes, your friends want to help you be successful. So by the time I actually talked to her live, she said, oh my gosh, I'm hearing about you everywhere. Well, I'm glad to hear that. So that was a very successful strategy. So that was kind of how I launched into Facebook and where that business came from. So how many of you currently have a business page for Facebook? Bree does, Karen does. Got it. Mark. So Jackie, you do not yet, correct?
Correct.
Okay, we'll work on that. And then Tracy, how about you? Oh, we have some other people on too. Sorry, I have to add you guys on. Okay, Mike, hang on. Guys, I'm just going to make it bigger for a minute here. Hold on, we're gonna pause so I can add the people that have joined on in. So Robert Foster, Sandy Pennell, Ariel. Yeah. All right, I think, is that everybody? Nope, wait, there's more. Hey, congratulations, all you guys, for showing up today. This is pretty awesome. Brandon. All right, I think I got you all. Okay. Yeah, so the new office calendar. Look at the type, it should, at the top, it should say Ignite. Yeah.
Oh, that's the other one.
There you go.
I clicked my own.
Oh, got it. Okay. All right, so I have all of you down. If anybody sees anybody else pop in, let me know. Okay, and I can't see you all at once because of the screen share thing. So if you have any questions and stuff, I'd like this to be obviously interactive. So if you have any questions or whatever as we go along, please just jump in and holler. Okay. So on the business page, one thing, so part of Ignite obviously is we have this section where you guys can make calls, etc. And we'll do a role play before we get to that. And that won't be until probably about 11. But a great way to get the word out there and to make sure everybody knows that you're in business, right, is to call people that you know, and especially if you're friends with them on Facebook, that's a better place to start because you know they're on there. And say, hey, whether or not, if they don't know that you're a realtor, if you're that new, then say, hey, I don't know if you know, but I got my realtor's license and I'm with Keller Williams. And in the meantime, I have my business page set up on Facebook. Would you mind taking a look at it for me and tell me what you think? Right? I mean, that's the easiest thing in the world to do. I just want your input. Even if you're not new, Brianne Smith, it's still a way. Call somebody that you haven't talked to in a while and just say, hey, I'm revamping my page and I want to get some input. Would you take a look at it and tell me what you think? So super, super easy conversation to have, right? It gets the word out that, or reminds them that, hey, you're a realtor. And B, ideally gets them to go to look at your page. And then I also would say, and if you don't mind, if you would like it, that would be fantastic because I want to build that up a bit. So easy peasy way and a reason to call people. So I'm kind of going between what I talk about often and then the agenda here. So let's get back to this part. So Gary Keller says, did you find this? Okay. It takes time to learn something, more time to implement, and even longer to approach mastery of it. That's very true. I mean, we're always continuing learning. All right, so 10-5-1 engagement system. And this is actually a very good plan here. So obviously it says social media is a powerful tool, expand your sphere, engage with your followers. Engagement is key. And so we talked about if somebody shares one of your posts, go like it and comment. So what they recommend, what Keller Williams is recommending, is that you like at least 10 posts a day. Okay, and so what my approach with Facebook, I mean, you can either use it as your lead gen time, where you spend like an hour in the morning or whatever. What I do is I'm just more kind of hit and miss. So if I have a free 10 minutes, I jump on Facebook and I first look to see if anybody sent me a message or if there's anything to comment on, in terms of notifications. And if I don't have anything big there, then I go to just my regular page and start scrolling and see what's on the feed. And I will like things, I'll comment on things. Treat it like it is an actual relationship with the people that you're working with, right? So, and by working with, I mean whoever's you're dealing with in Facebook at the time. So even if it's just a friend, right? Which, I mean, obviously they all should be friends, but if it's a friend on there and, and they post something about their dog, comment on it as if you were having a conversation with them. Treat it like it's an in-person relationship and it will become that way. And the whole goal of social media is to stay top of mind, right? There are all kinds of things you can do in Command and elsewhere to actually generate incoming leads, whether you pay for them, whether you generate free leads, et cetera. The best source of business is still always going to be your sphere of influence, and then eventually clients, past clients, et cetera. So right now, I would estimate pretty close to 98% of my business is all sphere referrals, people that I've worked with before, people that they send me. So it's all people that I know. It's all warm leads. So rarely do I have a cold lead. And then the other balance of it is, comes from listings that I have. So people that have called me about listings that I haven't met before, and then I talk to them from there. But so the vast majority of my business comes from that. And if you nurture those relationships, first off, they'll refer you. And then it's easier to keep business that you have instead of always having to go find new, right? So when you do have a transaction and somebody says that they think you did a great job, I ask them to actually write me a paragraph referral. Would you mind just writing a quick note that what you liked about the job I did for you? And most of them are very happy to do that. That then can get posted on your business page, can get posted on your personal page, can go on your website if you have one, which obviously you should. So it also then becomes something you can, if somebody wants a reference, you can give it to them as well. So those are very handy to have those in place. And again, the top of mind thing is, so for example, your friends, your immediate friends on there may not be looking to buy or sell in the next couple of weeks, couple months, couple of years. You never know. However, they know people who do. And that's where you want to stay top of mind. So that so for Bree, a friend of yours that you're friends with on Facebook, and you just commented on their dog, right? A friend of theirs says, hey, we're going to sell. Do you know a good realtor? I do. I know Brianne. In fact, I just talked with her today.
Boy,
Right,
do
so-
I.
Say that again.
Sorry, I thought I was on mute. I was going to say, boy, do I know a realtor.
See, and that's the response you want to get. So it really is top of mind, so that if somebody gets asked, hey, do you know a realtor? Somebody's thinking about selling, they have a family member, a friend or whatever, you become the first person that they think of. And by doing a blend, and this process here is going to talk to you about a blend of personal and business. You don't want to overwhelm people with the business side. On your business page, yeah, that's all business all the time. And then what I do is, to keep out of trouble with the Facebook algorithms, is some of those business posts you're going to share on your personal page. Not all of them. So you don't want every personal thing that you're posting to be about business. First off, Facebook will have a fit and scold you and or shut you down. Second thing is, you don't want people to not see what you're doing and not want to even talk to you, because every time they do, you're going to try and sell them a house, right? So keep those friendships as friendships, but then you subversively weave in a little bit of business here and there. So some of the things that I will do is, if I'm touring a farm, a ranch, or land or whatever, or I'm just taking a pretty drive to get to a listing, then I'll take a picture and say something about, damn, I love my job, that kind of thing. So it's very minimal, non-invasive. So 10 posts a day, you want to make sure you're liking, and you can either do it all at once, throughout the day, or whatever. It said, for me, it's easier to grab 5-10 minutes here, zip in, boom, 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 do a couple things, and then go on with the day and come back in later. When you're waiting in line at the grocery store, you can probably like 5 posts or reply to a couple. Then on your business page, if you suck at putting content on there, hire somebody. I'm just going to recommend that. I finally did that this last year. Well, now it's been about a year and a half. And the reason is because I was horrible at finding content to put on there. And so it was just very blah. I'd post on there maybe once every 2 months. Well, that doesn't really get you much activity. So I did finally hire somebody, and she posts for me. She sends me at the beginning of the month the list of what she's put together for this coming month. I can edit, approve, deny, whatever. And then we weave new listings in and out of that throughout the month as they hit. And then she puts it on schedule, and it automatically happens. So I don't even have to think about it. So yes.
I'm sorry, can you spend a little bit more time? I'm really having some difficulty understanding when to post on a personal and when to post on a business. I had spun up my business page, and maybe this is a little further down and we can wait till then, but I just heard you say a couple of things that are a little different than what I've heard. So you're not posting, you're only posting business on your business page.
Correct.
Okay.
But it's fun stuff. I mean, I post really corny jokes. I mean, it's not like it's all very serious. Let's talk about the market, right? I mean, I post a lot of like dad jokes and puns because if it makes me laugh, I think it'll make somebody else laugh.
Okay.
There's usually a lot of livestock jokes involved. I post a lot of things about cows. So it's not necessarily all serious business. Let me, hang on, we can, boop, boop, boop. We're gonna get off here a minute. Let me show you my business page. So on the business page, again, I don't want to necessarily inundate people with posts. So I only on there, unless I have something specific to add in, my scheduled posts are usually about every 5 to 7 days, right? So roughly once a week, there's a post scheduled. Then, okay, let me get some of this stuff. Let me move you guys. Yeah. All right. So see, maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Maple Leaves. Now, if you're old enough to remember the Maybelline commercial, it's very funny. If not, well, you're not my people. So this is the kind of crap I post on my business page, right? So,
Okay.
but
Super
like I said,
cute.
if it makes me laugh, I just figure it's gonna make somebody else laugh. Again, my goal is to stay top of mind. So I want people to subscribe to my page to see it so that things again just pop up. So then I also do here. So here I posted from my lender. They have a new fast track. I use Nancy Alexander with Guaranteed Rate. So this, I shared her post so that people could see on there, and I gave her a plug. She's a stellar lender. Even if you don't need a fast track, she's the bomb. So that again is more business related. Next one here, this was a scheduled one that was just for the first day of fall. And so it's just fall's finally here. I love it when leaves start to change around the farm. We raise alpacas, so we have a small farm, and so most people that know me know we have the little cute animals. So I talk about the farm in here a lot. I write, and there's one of those boys right now. We have a local magazine up here in the foothills called Serenity, and it is largely a real estate magazine. I mean, pretty much every realtor advertises in there. You can also do advertorials, etc. But Jody Dolph, Rachel Mulvihill, and I, the three of us share a column that we don't pay for because we don't talk about real estate in those columns. It's not an ad at all. I usually write about adventures in farming. Jody usually writes about community events, a lot of things going on in community-oriented things. Rachel tends to get a little philosophical. She actually just wrote an article last month about her divorce. All of those have got us great visibility in the community and about things not related to real estate. At the same time, all of our little bios say that we're realtors. So again, it's just another way to get the word out there without, again, paying for advertising. So I write every 3 months because we alternate. So this last one, I wrote an article about naming. Again, mine are usually humorous. That's kind of my go-to. So this guy's name is Mr. Big. And when we named him that, we didn't consider that if you get something at the pharmacy, they will call out Mr. Big Balls. So that's kind of the topic of that. So things get
Nice.
longer when you get a pet. This here now again is more business related. So sold, these were 2 properties that I sold down in Wheat Ridge that were small farms. I co-listed with Jody Barber. They had conservation easements on them. They were a blast to do. So again, just showing that, hey, we do sell stuff too. This is a video for a listing that I've got for a ranch out in Kiowa, and we did a lifestyle video. So we're promoting that. New listing in Conifer. So, and then here's a referral letter I got from clients that we just closed, and they wrote this amazing letter. And then my person made it look nice like this. They just, typed it to me and sent it to me. So that kind of gives you an idea. Again,
Okay.
closing. Yeah. So on that, so what I'll do is on these though, then some of these I will take. So new listings, I do share to my personal page. This one from George and Janine, I shared on my personal page, and I also tagged them to thank them for it because I am friends with them as well. I did not know them before I sold their house, but a lot of clients become friends. So if I have a new listing, I share it to my personal page. When you share something from your business page to your personal page, first off, do it as yourself. So down here, oh, look, Dawn sent me a message. Oh, it's up here. Sorry, I couldn't go. So here it says I'm interacting as Sally Ball, broker associate, right? If I change this, I can go back to just myself. Now that's how I want to share a post, because that way it's going to let me share it to, I gotta move you guys again. Let's get down to, well, I don't know where the things went. Normally that's not that hard, but if you share it as yourself, all right, let's just try this and see if it works. All right, so I'm pulling up here. So you can see here it shows I posted it as on my business page, but I'm now going to share it. I'm going to share it to my feed. So if you hit share now public, there's not the opportunity to make a comment. You always want to comment. And the reason is now that will up your stats on your business post to begin with.
Okay.
So because it shows somebody shared it and it shows they shared and commented, and that gives you more Facebook cred. So I'm going to share. Oh, shit. So I just did the one thing I told you not to do. Hang on. So what that's going to do is just going to share it without a comment, right? So anyway, so this time I won't actually share it. So if you share now public, it's going to put on your page. It won't make a comment. Share to story, I don't use stories because they're too brief. I want stuff to stick. So I do share to feed, and it pulls up this. So now here is where I can type. And so here I'm going to use this opportunity then. So I'm going to put testing, testing, testing. I'm teaching a social media class to new agents in our office and demonstrating Facebook pages. In the meantime, I'll just leave this here. Actually, hang on. Leave. Oops. This here. See what I did there?
I see what you did. I don't understand why you capitalized it though.
So they see leave, leave,
Oh.
leave.
Leave.
Yeah. See, in case they miss it. And then, oops, I don't want that thing. And I want this one up here. And then I'm gonna do my sunglass guy because he makes me laugh. All right, that's my indicator that, hey, it's a smart ass post, right? And then post, voila. So now I've taken a business post, shared it on my personal page. So that gives more visibility and algorithm stuff, however that works, to the business page. Because I commented when I shared it, that gives it even more. Makes sense?
Got it. Got it.
Options, I just have share to or share to a page.
Are you in as yourself or are you in as your business?
As a business.
So change to where you're posting as yourself.
So
Up at the top where it has your little face, yep, and the arrow. That's why you want to share it as yourself.
I was trying to do that.
Yep. Yep. So Diane, does that clear that up a little bit? Let me get back to here.
Yes, it gives me a little bit more of a level of understanding on of how it needs to be done. And
Great.
a little bit better the relationship between that personal page and that business page.
Great.
So I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you.
Absolutely. And if you do things that way, instead of putting a lot of business stuff on your personal page and just make it every so often, then again, you won't get in trouble with Facebook on your personal page. Because now you're just sharing it. So they're not even really registering that. But what the recommendation here in the Ignite course from KW is that you do basically 80-20. So 80% personal, 20% business. And so this would be relating to your personal page. So if you're doing 10 posts that are personal posts, and we're going to go through some ideas that they're going to give you here, and then 5 posts related to business. So you would do 4 personal posts and then throw in a business post. Do 4 personal posts and then throw in a business post. right? So that's how they're recommending it if you're doing it that way. So here's that section. Before we get to that part, what are your ahas? What do you guys, let's just take a break here and see questions, comments, anything on this so far?
My big piece is the relationship between those two pages and how they work together, or how they can work together.
Okay,
So
great. Anybody else?
I think throwing in that personal stuff is super, it connects you to your people, and makes you less, salesy. Mhm.
Exactly. And the main thing is be yourself. So I obviously have a very corny sense of humor. So that's what I show through it because again, it makes me laugh. Same thing. I never, ever, ever post anything political on the business page, on the personal page. I don't respond to political posts. I don't like them, dislike them, whatever. I stay out of that realm completely. The primary reason is, first off, it's nobody's business what I think, and most people don't care, right? They really don't. And the second thing is you're going to automatically alienate half of your potential client base, regardless of where you stand politically. The other half is going to be pissed, right? So business tip there, just stay out of it from a public standpoint. You can have all the conversations with people that you want in person, but I would keep it off of social media because once it's there, right? It doesn't go away. So that's pro tip number 2, stay out of the politics. Oddly enough, I will talk religion because I find that just interesting to talk about. And I think it's fun to do and you can do it without getting, people getting all pissed off. But it also depends on the person that you're talking with too. That would, I'll talk religion, but with people that I really do know in person and we've had conversations and it's just fun to talk about. But politics, I would say, just no, don't do it. Other than that, the main thing is just really be yourself. So on my personal page, I will occasionally use bad words. I try not to use really bad words. I save those for in person. But on the page, again, I'm just trying to be even though it is my personal page, it still reflects me as a business, right? It still reflects who you are, what you're about, right? What you do and what you enjoy doing. People want to get to know you. But keep in mind that they are also looking at you for if they find something that is going to be hugely a hot button for them, that kind of takes you right off their radar of somebody they want to work with or that they'd recommend. So it's just easier to avoid those. Make sense? Okay. Oh, I did. Oh, see, I covered up chat and I moved people. Hold on, let me see if I can. Yes, that would be great. Thank you. What's in there?
Recommend a company for auto posts.
I use Mindy up here, Alpha Pixel. She's up here in the foothills, but she has clients all over the place. And she's awesome. She also does my website. If you get to the point ever where you want your own website versus one of the KW ones, one of the main things is that you want to make sure it is ADA compliant. If you're using KW science, then you're fine. If you're using your own, there are attorneys out there the same way they do with restaurants that they just look for sites that are non-compliant for ADA. And believe it or not, it's for blind people who are looking at websites is the ADA thing. Seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? And yet they are suing agents in Denver. There's been several for up to $40,000, $50,000, $90,000. So it's much better to be ADA compliant than to have to go through a lawsuit. So what it is there's things that they can put on there where it will actually read text to people that are sight impaired. So there's a whole way of things to do it. And she does all of that. And so she actually talked to me about it way before I had even hired her and way before it became an issue in Denver. When we first started talking about stuff, she says, by the way, this is going to be a big deal. You want to get on top of it. And she was right. And so luckily we did. All right, I'm going to give you, so she does website, she'll do social media posting, she does all that and various levels, whatever you want. So I'm going to give you all her name and number. Please tell her I did so if you call her. Oh, that would be great. So her name is Mindy Hanson and it's Hanson. Her company is Alpha Pixel, Pixel. Phone number is 526-3636. Email is mindy@alphapixel.com. It's MINDY. Everybody got it?
Can you spell the name of the business again?
It's 2 words, Alpha, ALPHA, Pixel, PIXEL.
Okay, thanks.
Yep, and it's in the chat as well. Retyped it in there, so it's all in there. But yeah, Alpha Pixel Marketing or Alpha Pixel Media, but it's Alpha Pixel. And like I said, she is great. And God, I think it's been I think over a year that I've been working with her, and I've been very, very happy. Just to give you a quick idea in terms of typing. Here we go. See if that takes it. So this is my website. So separate from, so I have featured listings. Oh, that one's sold, so that hasn't been updated yet. I do have to tell her when she doesn't know automatically when things happen, so I have to remember to tell her. I have just a little blurb there. I've got different features here, connections to KW Land. This will scroll through for various references. These are associations that I'm with, etc. And then I've got up here is the blog. So she has taken all the articles that I've written over the years and put them in here. And so people can come read them, and they're just funny. Like I said, there's a couple of semi-serious ones in there, but for the most part, they're just fun to read. The best one, if you go read it, it was actually the first one I ever wrote, and it was an email to friends. Well, moving, you think we'd be good at it by now. Very good for realtors because we sucked. But here we go. Adventures in Farming, Stalking the Wild Ruby. It'll give you some laughs. All right. So here's what is recommended. We talked about that 80-20. So 80%, and again, this would be on your personal page, would be then pets, art, cooking, baking, recipes, exercising, outdoor adventures, live music, team sports. Here's what I recommend. Post what makes you happy, what makes people want to engage with you, but it shows who you are. If you're out hiking, show some scenery, right? If you are, I'm a knitter, I will post pictures of knitting in progress because I have friends who are knitters. Most people wouldn't find that very entertaining, but my knitter friends do. I do post food pictures, as Brianne will attest to. I do like to cook when I have the time.
You get a lot of hate.
Only from Kevin Dismute. Bree and I had a co-listing, and our client is very opinionated. He's also become a good friend to both of us and is very funny. And I tend to post food that is maybe not very healthy, and Bree posts things that are more healthy. So she gets the hate mail from him because she posts things that like they're good for you, and I post things deep fried with cheese. So, but again, just whatever it is that truly interests you. This is where you want to show your personality. You want to be genuine, right? And so things that you like, groups that you're part of, etc. Just you're really sharing, and think of it as having a conversation. The main thing is, as in life, never share anything that you don't want shared or you don't want people obviously to know. So for example, if I am down with a cold, I don't share that I'm homesick. My husband had to have a lot of surgery this summer. I didn't share that. So I don't share that kind of stuff. That goes, for like friends and family in person kind of thing. The other thing is if I have an open wound, I don't share that. I think those are gross. So there are certain things that, so again, whatever you're sharing, you want to remember who is your audience. So a lot of times it's people that you know, but you also probably have a lot of friends in Facebook that you don't actually know in person. So just keep in mind, if I'm posting something, is it something that I'm okay with somebody sharing out there to people I don't know? You can also change your privacy settings, etc. I have mine wide open. And I do monitor for a lot of the spam. I get a lot of handsome military guys that want to be my friend. And they keep saying they've been trying to be my friend. So those pop up. I usually see them very quickly. I instantly block and delete. So I can get rid of that stuff pretty quickly. But for the most part, I I want to make sure that anything out there, that people do see it, because again, to me, this is a business tool, even though it's a personal page. So when I do post those real estate things, I want people to see it, right? So that's my goal of Facebook. And then it is a great way to keep in touch. And also keep in mind the people that you're friends with that are out of state. This is an opportunity for referrals, right? So if you have a friend moving to another state, you know agents in that other state, or you can find agents that you can get referrals from. And the main thing, the way I position that is, hey, I know somebody in that area, if I do, and I know a lot of agents around the country, but if I don't, I'll even say, hey, I would love to find you a great agent and refer you to them in that area. Would you like me to make some calls and do some vetting? And that's all there is to it. And they usually say yes, unless they are already working with somebody. So 80% personal, 20% would be your business posts. Again, this would be on your personal page. So this listings, open houses, awards you've gotten, speaking events, if you've posted something funny on your business page that you want to share. I'm going to start doing probably once a month, either a blurb or a share. Oh, I like your sneakers. Either something that I find online as a source, or I may just write it up about the state of the market, right? And just a paragraph. We're heading into a more normal market. Interest rates are going up. They're predicted to go down again next year. Still a great time to buy or sell. Make it something a little more meaningful, but kind of as those highlights. Post it on the business page, and then that is something too I would like to share on my personal page. So again, you don't want to overdo it. So for every 4 personal posts, you could do a business post, whether it's a sharing one, or again, if you're out showing a property, right? That's not, if you're in like a really cool house or a really weird house, if there's a bidet, that is gold for Facebook, man. It's like, look what I saw today, right? So I mean, there are things again to work it in where you're not saying, hey, I'm a realtor, I want you to sell your house or buy a house. But it's, hey, I'm a realtor and I'm finding fun stuff out in the world to look at. So things you can work into it. And again, the main thing is to be yourself and that your personality comes through. If you are not a toilet humor person, don't post the bidet. Then, not that a bidet is a toilet, just to clarify. My mom had one and company used to think it was, hence we think it's funny. Parties, yes, boys would think it was a urinal. So, bidet humor all day long. Then what's on here is that, so this is like the extra credit post, is throwing in then one more post at times that is to do with community service. So this is where any groups that you're involved with, any causes that you're taking up and being a part of in your community. If the office is doing a community event, like at some point here, our office up here, we're going to do a dumpster event for clients so that everybody can call their clients, they can bring stuff that they need to get rid of. So check with your office, what is on the office calendar of community events. So again, Foothills, we do the chili cook-off every year in Evergreen that supports the firefighters up here, because most of ours are volunteer. So it raises money for that. It's a huge event. People from all over Evergreen, Conifer, the Foothills come to it. And we participate in the actual chili cooking off, as well as having a KW booth there. So events like that are things that are a great thing to post about. And again, you're not saying anything about real estate, but people now know you're a realtor, so it's that top of mind. I'm involved with both the Mountain Area Land Trust and Colorado Open Lands, which are both, not-for-profit land trusts. They do conservation easements, et cetera, but their whole goal is to conserve land and water and natural resources. So lately they are doing their big events that they do every year. So I'm there, so I will post photos from there. And because I want to promote what they're up to, because they do great things. So for this one, I'm going to one Thursday, is Colorado Open Lands big event, and it takes place down at Five Fridges Farm, which is down in Wheat Ridge. And it's this little 12-acre farm in the middle of Wheat Ridge. They have goats, they do farm to table. We're gonna have a great dinner. There's actually gonna be music. We get to tour the farm. They don't normally do public tours. So it's gonna be just fun to see. And it's a great thing that I'll be posting to promote what they're up to. So any good ideas there?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna start calling on people. Mark, how about you? What are you getting out of this so far?
Sorry, I just got back online. My internet went out, so I've been out of the loop for about the last 5 minutes.
then you likely have not much to comment on for the last 5 minutes. How about
Oh,
further?
I'm just glad to be reconnected, so.
Good.
Sorry
Well,
about
and
that.
what we've been talking about is a lot of that interaction between personal and business pages, and it is being recorded. So you can always go back and catch that spot of what you missed.
Thanks.
Okay, Karen, how about you? Since you're at the top of my screen.
I like having a percentage, you know, the 80-20 and bonus 10 rule. It's helpful to have that kind of list and checking it off, making sure that I do it on a daily basis. That's
Great.
helpful.
Perfect. Okay, anybody else? Just know I'm going to call on you. All right, social media strategies. Next step. And what time are we at here? 10 to 10. We're doing good time-wise. So again, connect with people you know or have met in one way, shape, or form. I actually do with clients if I'm not already friends with them on Facebook. So the ones that get referred to me from somewhere else, friends or whatever that I haven't met. Once I've met them, and if I know that we're going to like each other, then I will ask them, "Are you on Facebook?" And so that they know that, then I'm going to friend them. And that's how I add clients into that. Is I just ask them if they are. I've had a couple over the years that aren't at all, but for most people are. You'll also find, kind of a core group of people will comment and like your posts and all that. And there are times when I wonder, it's like, God, are people even seeing this? And yet somebody then will come out of left field and comment, or I'll see somebody in person and they'll say, "Oh my God, I love your posts." And I have no idea they're even seeing anything. So people do see it even if they don't comment and like. So just be aware of that. You're reaching more people than you likely think you are. Then post about your neighborhood, use images. So photos get more visibility and views than non-photo posts. Video posts get even more. I don't do a lot with video because I'm not good at the selfie thing. I'm horrible at it. But I will do video of like the creek running or wild turkeys in our yard. So I will do post videos of that kind of thing occasionally. So maybe one in every, 20 posts that I do as a video. If you do maybe one in every 10 is probably a good thing. If you want examples of really awesome videos, look up Rachel Mulvihill's page on Facebook. She is now officially our new team leader here in here in Foothills. So for Conifer and Evergreen, she's amazing. She's been here a long time, awesome agent. And she, a lot of times she'll post or hook up with Jody. They do a lot of business together, Jody Dolph, and they'll do videos together. And then other times Rachel will just post on her own. I actually share her business posts because they're that good. She did one recently about, how much that we're getting to a normal market, and that's not a reason to be afraid. Said it better than I could. So I'm like, what? So don't be afraid to share other realtor stuff because you're sharing this with your friends, right? So there's never harm in sharing that because it's not like they're going to go, "Oh my gosh, that's my new realtor," right? They're going to appreciate you for sharing something valuable. But Rachel is a very good example of doing really good, quick business videos. And then Jody can likely give you also the link for the page that they do together, because I don't know for sure where it is, but she can give you that as well. So I would say if you're not already friends with those two on Facebook, request. And then, like I said, just stalk them a bit because they're both really, really good at the video thing.
So even if you don't know them, I mean, it's okay to just share other people's stuff.
It's all up on how they have their settings set, right? So if they have it set that you can share it, that normally means they're going to be okay with it. I always give credit. So that's going to be a main thing. So I'm actually glad you asked that. So when for example, if I share a video that Rachel did, I actually tag her when I share it and say, even though it's a video by her, obviously it has her in there. I tag her in the post and say, "Hey, I just want to share this video that Rachel Mulvihill made. It's a great recap of our market. I couldn't have said it better myself. Hope you enjoy watching it." Right. So give credit to the person that you're sharing to, because sometimes that won't show up necessarily that you're sharing or the comment that might have been made when they posted it. So always give credit if you're sharing somebody else's thing that they're doing.
Okay.
Makes sense, Jackie?
Yes.
Congratulate new homeowners. So again, if you've got buyers that just closed, if they're okay, I never think to take a stupid picture at closing. So I am not the example of what to do with that. I think about it a week later. I'll post that the property closed. I just don't take a picture of the buyers. A lot of people do mainly just ask your buyers or your sellers, right, at closings, if they're okay with A, taking a picture, and B, do you mind if I post this on my Facebook page? And when I have done it, I've never had anybody say no. I mean, most of them are fine with it, but it is just courtesy to ask first. But if you get in the habit of it, again, now people start seeing, and again, that's something that would go on your business page and then share it on your personal page. But, congratulations to these sellers. We just sold their house and their names, right? Tag them if they're in there. You normally can't tag them on your business page, but can tag them on your personal. And then if it's a buyer, same thing, they're holding the key at the title company, share, tag them if you can. So on those, what I'll do is I'll put it on the business page, change sharing, so you're sharing it to yourself. When you go to share it, it may not highlight their names in the comments. Still type it up, share it, then go to your personal page, edit the post, take their names out, put them back in, and it will then tag them if you're friends with them. Make sense? Because a lot of times you're like, why aren't they getting tagged? It's just a weird thing that Facebook does. So if you do that regularly, here's the cool thing. Now people on your personal page are seeing, oh, look, she closed a house. Oh, look, he closed a house. Oh, look, he closed one. Oh, look, another one closed. And it's even if it's one a month, even if it's one every 2 months, if it's one a week, doesn't matter. You want to just get in that habit. So people remember, oh, look, they're not only doing business, they're actually doing business, right? They're actually closing things. So same thing with new listings. Oh, look, got a new listing. Oh, look, got a new listing. So all of that is just that reminding people of what you do and top of mind. Then post about listings and again, engage. So highlight your business. So think about hyper local information. So whatever area you're in, and it's like one of the women I know down in Texas, Tara Stark. She is one of the top producers of all of KW, not just KW Texas or her office. You've met Tara, haven't you? Okay. She does luxury ranch properties in Weatherford, Texas, does a ridiculous amount of business, and it's just her daughter, and now I think her son just joined to do some marketing stuff. It's only the three of them. I believe they do like in the realm of 100 million a year. I mean, it's ridiculous. And their entire business model is hyper local, and they've become just the masters of that. They do very little outside of the Weatherford area. And so one of the things that they do is they're very, very involved in their community. So they sponsor events, they go to events. Up here we've got the Evergreen Rodeo, right? So that would be something that they would do. So think about in your areas, are there events and stuff, again, to get involved in your community so that people get to know you in person as well. It's not just they know you through Facebook, because now that transfers into this. Maybe it's going the other end of it. Maybe it's a list of farmers markets, right, in the summer and spring. We're coming up on fall. There's going to be pumpkin patch things, right? So events and things right in your very local area are great things to share. Utilize tech developments. I don't even know what that means. I'm not good at technology. So if you know what they are, you should utilize them. Basically, I mean, obviously Command has a ton of things in it. There's going to be a Command Con class coming up that, Command is a class in and of itself. I use Command, well, obviously for, contracts and everything like that, but I have Terry, a TC that does, my assistant does all that for me. Where I use it personally is for doing campaigns, paid campaigns for listings. And I don't do those to capture leads. I do it strictly to get visibility on listings. So if we have time towards the end, I'll touch on that as to how to actually do it. It's super, super simple. Post client testimonials, etc. So things to highlight your business. Don't post and ghost. This again is critical, and we've talked about it. Engagement creates engagement. So, think about, there's gonna be times where you'll actually have whole conversations on Facebook if you're doing it well. So somebody may comment, you comment back. I don't let any comment go, as long as I know about it, go unremarked on, or at least liked or loved or cared or laughed at or whatever. but I do try to actually comment where I can as well, if it makes sense to. And again, it just keeps that engagement. So don't post and ghost. The other thing is too, to keep in mind with that. So for example, I posted, so I shared, a friend of mine is an author, Tanya Buck. You know Tanya, right? So, okay, Tanya's written a few books. She lives up here, and she's going to have a book signing at a new bookstore that is opening here in Conifer. So she had posted when it was happening. So I shared her post and said, hey, go visit my pal Tanya, read the book, it's great. So another friend of mine in Arvada said, actually, based on that, and he posted, based on that, he went and got the book. And on Audible, listened to it, loved it. And so, and he had replied on there to her. So I know she's seeing it. So now I'm watching for her reply. So that's people want to see if what you said, what I posted, are you going to comment on in my post to you, right? Or if I comment on yours, are you going to acknowledge? So, and that's the whole thing, that even just liking it, at least it's acknowledging that you saw their post on yours, right? And it keeps that engagement. So don't post and ghost. Participate in online communities where you offer unique and valuable perspective. So I belong to quite a few online groups. Some are real estate, right? So I belong to a lot of land-oriented, equestrian, livestock, etc. Those kind of real estate groups. I share all of my appropriate listings to those groups. So I go in each one and share them. And then I belong to a luxury group that's mostly downtown Denver. And here's been the benefit of that. It was a group I was asked to join because the founder of it has sent me some referrals up here. And it's all across, it's not just KW agents, it's all kinds of agents there, and it's grown quite a bit. But I'm one of the few mountain agents in that group. So I stay active in that group so they remember I'm up here, right? So that there's possible referral opportunities there. Think of things that you're interested in your personal life and find groups that support that. You know, if you're a knitter, there's knitting groups. If you like German Shepherds, there's German Shepherd groups. So there's all kinds of groups out there, and you can usually look at them first and kind of see what they do before you actually join. If they're public groups, if they're private, you have to ask to join first. But find things that you're interested in. Just think of that as expanding your community. So it's taking it outside of your personal one and going out. One that was just started that I thought was freaking brilliant is there's a KW agent in Missouri, and she's one of the land agents, so we've gotten to know each other. She drives a Jeep, and I also drive a Jeep, so we've been talking about Jeep stuff. She started a Jeep group on Facebook for people with Jeeps in Missouri, and doing the whole little duck thing. So there's a thing, if you don't know about Jeeps, it started in COVID, where if a Jeep owner sees a Jeep and they put a little rubber ducky on there and it says you've been ducked. And people have gotten really creative with it and all that. And it's just really, I have received a duck. But so she took that. So she actually now carries the ducks in her car and put a blurb about you've been ducked and whatever. It's very cute. And on the back of it, it has her business card. And she has started then this whole online community about people with Jeeps in Missouri. And she's very active in it, and not in a real estate way, but she has her logo on the side of her car. So she will post pictures of her Jeep in the mud, and it shows KW Landlady on the door. I mean, it's freaking brilliant. So she's done, there's all kinds of creative things you can do, but that's one thing that she's done. All right, so the activity is to right now post something on social media. So you can either post to your business page, you can post to your personal page. If it's on your business page, in fact, here's what I would recommend if you don't have something that you want to post off the top of your head, is go to your business page, post something about, always learning, hey, I'm in a class on social media and testing this out on my business page, right? And something along those lines. Then post it there and then share it to your personal page. So if you have something better to post, by all means do so. 1, 2, 3, go. How we doing? Cool. All right, so we will carry on here. The other thing is also, obviously, I'm talking mainly about Facebook because that's the one I use. I'm horrible at Instagram. And I never use Twitter. So I use it to receive like information from the Jeffco Sheriff's Office. So, but you can link a lot of your Facebook and Instagram stuff together. So if you are doing stuff on Instagram, when you post something on Instagram, you can have it automatically go onto Facebook as well, and vice versa. Same thing with the business stuff. So there are options there. If you do wind up talking to Mindy, she's much more knowledgeable about that than I am. Like I said, I am just so used to using Facebook, and that's where the bulk of my friends are, that I see their Instagram posts, but I really don't do much with it because they show up on Facebook as well. So more strategies. Be authentic. So we've talked about that. Just be genuine, right? Be yourself. People will sense fear and desperation, as well as if you're in something just for business. So even, personally, if you join a group just because, I'll use my knitter example, you join a knitter group just because you want to get business, that becomes very apparent. If you join it because you really just love knitting and want to meet people, out of that eventually will come business, because then now they know you, they trust you, they know what you do. So be authentic, be yourself. Don't be a jack of all trades. So when I started out specializing in land, I did get a little concerned that, are people going to think that's all I do? And occasionally I will get, in fact, the listing that I just got this week, and it's people I know. They even called me and said, we're not one of those big Sally Ball ranches. I don't do as many big ranches as people think I do, but I promote them well, so they think I do a ton. But so I will also then occasionally post a condo, right? So I want to make sure people know that I do the whole variety. I don't want all the eggs in one basket. At the same time, I don't promote that I'm expertise in areas much outside of general real estate, land, farm, and ranch. That's where I promote my expertise. So if you have a specialization, if you're going to go after land, if you're going to go after luxury, new home buyers, senior citizens, veterans, there's all of those subsets that you can specialize in, then make sure learn as much in those areas as you can and start weaving that into your conversation. So even if you're not an expert yet in that area, start promoting what you're learning about it and what you're doing to become the expert in it. Make sense? So I did, I'm going for a certification called the ALC, and it's not the KWALC, it's the Accredited Land Consultant. And it's through RLI, which is the Realtor Land Institute, which is the land arm of the National Association of Realtors. So NAR, RLI is part of that, because we don't have enough acronyms in our world. So the ALC requires, the education is 104 credit hours. So it's like getting a master's. You have to have 10 million in qualifying production. So it has to be land production over a 5-year period. And then you have to basically write a freaking thesis that is 100 some odd pages, because you actually have to write something about each property you're submitting. So it's a big deal. When I started on it, I'm actually just now about to submit everything again, because I messed up on the first submission, but I have the production, education, all that done. It was a year ago yesterday, in fact, because it showed up on my feed in memories, that I flew to Texas to take my first class. And so when I was there, I just, put on my personal page. So I didn't even put on my business page. I put on my personal page that, hey, I just, landed in Texas. I'm about to take my first class to work towards getting my ALC. And so each class I took, I would post where I was at and what the class was about. So again, you can start promoting that specialization in whatever form that looks like, if it's something that you're going to do. But we can't be everything to everybody, right? So think just in terms of that, don't try to spread yourself too thin. Embrace video, use analytics to optimize your posts. So this again is something that I use Mindy for. So, and that's for on the business page. So she keeps track of analytics and what's going to strike better, et cetera, and is constantly refining that of what is going to get the most views, the most engagement, all of that. So there are also, I believe, on the Facebook business page, there are things that you can click in and look at on that as well yourself, if it's something that you want to play with. They have all that kind of stuff in there. I rarely boost posts unless it's to do with a listing, because again, that's more of a paid advertising, and I put my marketing dollars elsewhere other than that. And ask for help. So again, if it's in your budget and doable to hire somebody, it frees up your time, right? And don't source out your personal page, obviously, but for your business page, it can make a whole lot of sense. Ask for help, within the office. Obviously we have an awesome tech trainer with Chris that he covers all 3 offices and is always available to help as well. KW has a lot of stuff on their website that can help in terms of technology, et cetera. So you have a lot of things to take advantage of. And then obviously also you've got Jody as your coach as well. All right, so recapping this section is the 80-20 there, and then the bonus for the community. Don't post and ghost, add value, social media strategies under that whole area. And then the 80-20 spelled out the other way. All right, so we'll pause here at the ahas. So in terms of how has your thinking changed? What ideas or mindsets were new? What do you feel differently about? What was meaningful? How will your behaviors be different? So what do you think you will implement out of this so far? What tools, models, or systems will you use, and how will they make you accountable? So let's get some feedback here. Since Bree's in person, we'll start with you.
Usually you might have to mute you.
Oh, I have to mute. You're right. Hold on.
Is that good? Okay. I like having something to follow because I'm always afraid of, I don't know, offending someone or, yeah, it's still echoing bad. You have to turn down mute. Yeah. Am I still echoing? Yes. Okay. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Meaningful to me today. I guess I just never think that people care that much about what you have to say. So I think, oh, they'll only like a picture. It's hard for me to engage and go back and forth in a conversation. I don't know if anyone else feels like that, but I don't know. I just feel like people are so busy and your content has to be super special in order for them to really engage. But you talk to people all the time. I see you, I mean, about the most random things. I'm like, here she's killing it again. So I haven't ever gotten anything off of Facebook yet, but I haven't been as consistent, I guess. So yeah. And I'm on there all the time, which is such a colossal waste of time. So if I'm on there, I should be doing something business related, because I certainly don't want to call people, call strangers. Yeah. I know. Okay.
Kelly, we can't hear you.
And the one in there that just always stuck is you quit worrying so much about what people think of you if you know how frequently they actually do.
Yeah.
And it's, we make it all about ourselves, right? Oh my gosh, what are we gonna think?
Well, some people are vicious. Have you seen the vicious people on Facebook?
They are, but they really, I block people all day. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to block something. So, and I scroll by, I get very little political that shows up because I don't engage in it. So somehow the algorithm figured that out. But I have friends that post their political stuff and I just scroll by. So I'll occasionally go to their page, see what they're posting, go through all that stuff and look for a picture of their dog, right? So,
Mhm.
so it really is more of the find the nuggets that you want to engage with, right? So if somebody posts something that, you know, you're looking at it anyway, they post a picture of their dog.
Yeah.
So just comment on it. You'll maybe want to post one.
So I guess that's my question. If you see the same 30 people every day, do you have to go and search for people and then comb through their feed and
I do-
comment?
I do every couple of weeks. I will go through, because I see pretty much the same, probably 30 to 40 people. So every couple of weeks, I will go on to my friends list and I just look through to see who haven't I heard from lately that I haven't seen something. And so then I'll go to their page and it may just be they haven't posted, right, which is a lot of times is true. Or, but if they did, then I'll look at the couple of most more recent posts and see if there's something there that I can like and or comment on. At a minimum, I want to like it, and if there's something to comment on, then I'll comment. The more they start engaging with you, that's what determines who you see, is the people that engage with you. It's not really who you engage with. So, for example, so Nancy was saying, she says, all I ever see, so I play that Wordle game, like Wordle, right?
No, but you do.
I play Wordle, but I have a group of my friends that are actual friends, we play it kind of together. So I post it every morning at about 6:30, what my went that day. And so apparently, and I don't know how other people see, but then my friends will post on mine, say what they thought, and we all laugh about Wordle. Well, in the meantime, Nancy then, who's my mother and friend of mine, she goes, how come you're posting this Wordle shit? And that's all I'm getting from you is Wordle. And I said, because you're not then engaging with my other posts. I said, so first off, scroll by the Wordle thing and quit giving me grief about Wordle. My man shark Nancy. And, and at the same time, I said, what you'll have to do to start seeing the rest of it is go to my page and start liking or commenting on some of the other posts that I've done, and that will get you back in that. So she did, apparently it worked because she's now seeing some of my other posts. But she initially actually thought all I was posting was Wordle stuff. So I did debate possibly not posting the Wordle in case that's happening with other people, but there's people can see it on there. So, but again, things that you, and then for your own posts, like the post you did about the kids' photos for school.
Oh, that, yeah,
that
I
was
got
cool.
people
And how much response did you get?
a lot. So if, because I don't think I'm friends with most of you on here, but I have 3 kids and you posted, you know, the first day of back to school pictures of my oldest 2 and nothing on my youngest. Like he didn't even exist. And it's because he was still sleeping and the other 2 are in high school and middle school. But I don't know, I got a lot of people rolling and like the whole mom of the year kind of comments and yeah.
But it was awesome. And first off, you know, right,
Yeah.
But the engagement on that, because I commented on it, so I got comments, I got notified that other people commented as well too, was just awesome.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic. So that was freaking
So when you look like an idiot, people love it.
brilliant. I love it. Anytime mom makes fun of yourself, you'll always get a good response. In fact, people up here today in the ethics class and the orientation, so we've got a lot of our new people are here today. But my memories that came up, I posted last year, I am maybe a little bit known for being late. And not as prompt as I would like to be in all areas of my life, most areas. So last year I had signed up, I had taken ethics for my 3 years. So I signed up, to take it in person, and I zip over there and I'm freaking out because I think I'm late. I think I'm 2 minutes late. And it's a required course, so I'm gonna get in trouble if I'm more than like 5 or 10 minutes late. So I'm like, oh crap. So I get there, I whip in the parking lot, and it's held in a church here that they use their conference room. I go in, everything is dark. There's nobody in there. And I'm going up and down the stairs and trying to find, I've never been in this church before. There's nobody here. And so I get out, I go back up to my car, and I pull everything out. I was an hour early. I was a full hour early. So I made a whole post out of that, and people cracked up because they know my intention for not being on time. So anytime you can make fun of yourself, some people will.
So what about everyone else? What's theirs? Let's ask them.
And turn my sound back up. Okay, so I'm gonna start at the top and go down. So if you don't know where you're at on my screen, but be prepared to chat. So Karen, you're the first one I see here. So what are yours so far, and what will you implement out of this, what we've done so far?
So typically, I do a little social media. I'm more familiar and use Instagram a lot more. I've been shying away from Facebook, but with this class and the concepts, I think I'll try to integrate it a little bit more. The one thing I struggle with, I have a lot of followers on my personal page, very few on my business page. So always trying to figure out how to grow those followers on my business page.
So 2 ideas there. First off, I'm curious, have you found them things here in this, since I have been so Facebook heavy on it, that will translate to what you do in Instagram as well?
Absolutely. I
Great.
post a lot of personal and business on my Instagram page. I'm very, very real estate heavy on Facebook. So now integrating the personal aspect, and then I didn't really know about the whole sharing as the personal to my, sharing my business page to my personal page. So I did just do that.
Great.
So try to implement that more, but there's definitely crossover that I'll be doing.
Good. So on then your Instagram page, and this could also work on Facebook, is because you want to get obviously people to like and follow your business page. So the best source to start with that is your personal page, right? So I would say, ask your friends to like your page, right? So post a link to your business page on your personal page and say, hey, I'm trying to crank up some likes here. Would you take a minute, please take a look? And if you want to, please like it and follow, right? The
Okay.
most direct way to get people to do something is to actually ask them.
Okay.
And then periodically do that. I mean, do that maybe once every 6 months. In Facebook also, and I don't know if you can do this in Instagram, in Facebook, you can invite people to like a page. So on Facebook, if you go into your friends list, and I haven't done it in a while because I haven't added anybody. But there's a way in your business page, I think, to ask all of your personal friends to like your page or to like it.
Okay.
So there is a way to do it, and I just don't know it right off the top of my head. If it's not something you can find easily in there or figure out, give me a call and I'll actually get in there and dig around a bit. Because like I said, I've done it before. I just forget where to actually find it.
Okay.
And that automatically then sends out a message to them saying, hey, Karen invited you to like this page.
Yeah, I think I might have done that at the beginning when I first put it on, but I certainly can do it again and or double check.
Right. And I
Okay.
don't think it'll let you invite people more than once. So,
Okay.
but new friends that have been added, it'll give you the list of who all you can. And I go through it. I don't automatically ask everybody because there's some that it just doesn't make sense. But I will ask other realtors, certainly, because they've asked me to like their pages. And I do like to kind of see what they're up to, right? What
Sure.
people are doing. So any like business contacts, I absolutely will. But occasionally I'll have some, like family or whatever, that they're so far out of the state or whatever, or they're just weird and I don't necessarily want them to like things. I don't ask.
Right.
Everybody has that family member, right?
Right.
So I don't want them commenting.
Right.
Okay, Diane.
Lots of good information of how the 2 pages work together. I've got a better idea there. I do feel a little scattered right now with all the different things that I'm doing. So maybe I will look into having someone help me tighten up my social media, because that truly is where I want it to head. I want to make that kind of my hub for lead gen. So I think bringing in some experience would probably do me some good.
Great.
So.
And you bring up a really good point, and I find this every either class I go to, or if you go to family reunion, any of the bigger KW events, masterminds, etc. You come out of those or technical classes like this, I'll come out of it with like 5 things. It's like, oh, I want to do all the things, right? And then it's very overwhelming. And especially if you do go to family reunion, same thing, you come out of there just reeling. So take some time actually and pause and maybe pick one thing. And so usually if I'm shaking up anything in my marketing, and especially if it's going to be something that's going to cost me money, I do it with the intention of giving it 1 year and seeing how it works. So rather than implementing 5 things for a month, pick one thing that you're going to put your marketing dollars towards and do it for a year. So that was Mindy was one of the things I did for, because I knew the need was there for a business page and an active business page, and I wasn't doing it, and I knew I wasn't going to do it. So, and then I also wanted my personal website to be more robust and interactive as well too, with like actual current listings on there. So I committed to that for a year, and it has been absolutely worth it, and that's something I will continue. So now for next year, 2023, I'll look at, okay, now what's the next thing I'm going to add in marketing wise? And it'll likely be the sponsorship that I've started of the land trust, because we usually sponsor their events. It's not cheap, but it's something I believe in. It will eventually lead. It's a long term. You know, we're all in this for the long game, right? Do not expect in anything you do to see a result, you know, tomorrow or next week. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. And people have to see things multiple times. So those multiple imprints. That's why the postcards work if you're going to do it regularly and long term. Social media now has kind of taken the place of that, at least for me. Okay, let me, whoops. Oh, wait, I just did the wrong page. Oh, crap. Hang on. How do I get that out of it? Somehow I lost there. See, technology in action, man. Okay. All right, so now back over here. We're at Mark, you're up next.
Kind of like what Diane said, I'm gonna need reinforcements. I'm pretty new to Facebook, so probably gonna, especially for my business page, I need some help to get that looking a little more polished. And just coming up with ideas of what to post. Like I said, new to Facebook, have never posted, just have set it up.
Okay. Do you have a personal page?
Yes.
Okay. So in that case, right now it is going to be more of the getting your personal friends to know that you have a business page once it's set up.
Yes.
And we're actually going to talk about how to do that for today's call assignments. So that should be right up your alley.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay. Sandy, you're the next one up here.
Hi. Yeah, this whole thing is going to be a struggle for me because I'm just not active on my personal Facebook. For sure, I haven't asked for friends before or posted much. If I do, it's like my kids helping me. So
Okay.
it's going to be a real learning experience.
Well, and keep in mind, this may not be a marketing tool that you want to use, and that's okay as well.
True.
Right? It's a great way to interact with your sphere and stuff, but you're right, you'd need to probably start upping your personal interaction at the same time. Because again, you don't want it to be where somebody sees and like, oh, now she's going to do all this because she's a realtor, right?
Yeah, awkward. Yeah.
Exactly. So you'd start it off a little slower and really get more of your personal side of it up first, and then start introducing the business. But it's really okay. Also, again, it goes into that not all the ideas are something that you necessarily want to implement. And so social media may not be the best choice for you at this time. And that's perfectly okay.
Right. And I mean, I go on social media to stalk my daughter and my son pretty much. So
Okay.
kind of weird. Yeah.
Yep. So again, totally up to you. It may not be a good fit. And if so, that's fine. There are so many other ways to get business, generate leads, etc. So
Absolutely.
there's plenty of options.
Awesome.
Okay. Ariel, you're up next. Could you put your video on as well?
Hi. It's Ariel, actually.
Ariel, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I wanted to know more about the land consulting. actually. Is that something that you have to meet a minimum requirement of transactions?
Not necessarily for, okay, in a nutshell, no. To get the certain designations, yes, but to start specializing and learning about it, no. Ariel, what office are you in?
KW, Arvada.
Arvada? Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. And so what we can do is, because you guys don't really have anybody there that's doing land yet, why don't we, let me give you my phone number. Do you have something to write down?
Yeah, I would love that, actually. I'm a native and my dad used to own quite a bit of acreage down in southern Colorado. And so
Awesome.
I'm kind of going up towards the mountains though, as my next move back towards Leadville. So I am
Great.
interested in the high mountain land and et cetera.
Perfect. So let's have a conversation about the things you can do to start working to improve your knowledge, as well as, to start learning more and more about it and get involved with those communities as well. We've got a strong KW land group here in the Conifer and Evergreen office. The Castle Rock office is starting one, but also I'll talk to you about RLI. In fact, we have another meeting coming up in January that would be a great one for you to attend as a guest and just check that out. So it's something outside of KW, but the knowledge there is immense. So a lot of opportunity. So my phone number is 303-506-7405.
Okay, okay, okay.
And give me a call maybe later this afternoon and we'll just chat about that.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. All right, Jeff Gorman, you're up next.
Hello.
Hi there.
Video. I'm actually interested in the land stuff too. Ironically, she asked that question.
Awesome.
I have a property up at Jefferson, Kenosha Pass area, and I actually worked a couple deals up there. Nothing went completely through, but it was kind of interesting, and I'm trying to learn more. So I'd like to learn more about land and some of the mountain property issues.
Great. And Jeff, which office are you in?
I'm in the Avenues, Arvada.
Okay, great. Well, then let me do this then. Give me your phone number.
Yeah, 303 477 7070.
Great. And what may make more sense is for me to come down to the Arvada office and we actually just do a class on land. I did that down in Castle Rock. And I'll actually just come teach a class to the two of you and anybody else that is interested in it on just what that specialization looks like and resources and all that kind of stuff.
That sounds great. I also have questions too about Mindy. Does she work with obviously Facebook, but like Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that?
Yes, she does all of it.
What does she charge like per month or whatever her fees are?
It all depends on what level of service and such that you want. So when I first hired her, it was expensive because I had her redo my whole website and make it ADA compliant, get a lot of stuff up to speed. So that was kind of spendy. Monthly right now, I think for the social posts, et cetera, it's probably $250 to maybe $300 a month. Okay. And like I said, she just handles all of it. And if I have, I can send her listings. She puts those up as well too. I think that's about what I'm paying. I think, like I said, I have her do quite a bit of stuff outside of that and reporting and all that kind of things as well too. So some of it kind of blends in. So it depends on the level of what you want her to do, how much, et cetera. But I think it's worth talking to her and seeing if it's a good fit, something she can do for you.
Okay, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
You bet. Okay, let me get back to the, oh, that's a little better. I have to make this bigger. All of a sudden I can only see, oh wait, there we go. Okay. So, Ariel, Brannon, you're up.
Yeah, hi. So we're still talking about social media, right?
Yes, that is the topic of the day.
So, I mean, I think it's great. I think it's very interesting. My previous job, I really, like most of my colleagues, try to keep our social life and our business life separate. I mean, it was like there was really there wasn't any overlap. Nothing we did work-wise would lead to any social interactions. I think it's really interesting though. In this business, it's like it is very intertwined, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I've been pretty quiet on Facebook for the last several years, and I'm kind of happy to start posting again.
Great. And it's like, I actually fought joining Facebook for years and years. And my husband kept saying, you should get on Facebook, you should get on Facebook. And he also said you should get a smartphone. So I might have been a little bit behind on things. I still had a flip phone. So I did get a smartphone and I joined Facebook. And I actually have been, my initial thought was that, it's just gonna be one more time suck that I don't need. Instead, it's been obviously hugely valuable to my business, but even more so on the personal level, I've been able to reconnect with a lot of people I had lost touch with, both family and friends. One of the most amazing things, I'm back in touch with a friend of mine that we've been friends since we were 10. And then in our late 20s, we just totally lost touch and hadn't been in touch since then. We're now in our 60s, so that's been a long time. And probably now about, I guess, 10 years ago when I got on Facebook, is another mutual friend actually connected us. And so now not only we reconnected, we talk on the phone once a week. We talk every Monday morning. We go back and forth between Colorado and Michigan and visit each other. We just picked right up where we left off. So that has been a huge gift that can be just a little side benefit as well.
Yeah, well, I want to add this too. I mean, for someone, so Facebook, you touched on this earlier. Facebook can be just very argumentative, just people arguing politics or religion or whatever, and no one coming to any conclusion, just zinger after zinger, and sometimes even worse. I've learned something: if you just don't engage at all with those posts, don't hit the like button, but you do engage with the more social posts, the more pleasant posts, the more, hey, this is what I did this weekend, this is the mountain I climbed, whatever, those are the posts you'll start to see more.
Absolutely. I said very little in the way of political posts show up on my feed at all anymore.
I used to get, that's when I didn't have Facebook, that's all I saw, which was very discouraging because well, I'm not posting anything if this is all Facebook is about.
Right. So, but yep, you're exactly right. They're very smart in their algorithms. And KW has a relationship with Facebook. So when we do the campaigns and stuff, and we'll have plenty of time. I'll still pull that up and show you on how to do campaigns and such. The Bree, I'm seeing your head behind your head.
Your picture when you turn off your camera.
Don't turn off your camera when you're in a class.
I know, but it needs to be on there.
You're fine. So, oh, I forget what I was saying. I got distracted by Bree's giant head. But no, so the KW algorithms with Facebook. So I took one of the classes at Family Reunion a couple of years ago where Facebook was actually there and attended and did a whole breakout session about it. And so when you do those, you can do a campaign where you actually select your criteria and everything. But for the most part, you actually get a better response if you let Facebook do the algorithms, because they're very brilliant at it. Right? How many times let's talk about bunnies. All right. Now I'm going to go to my feed and I will have something about a bunny there in 30 seconds. Right? I mean, it's very scary. So that's another reason, don't post anything you don't want shared. Don't say anything you don't want Facebook to overhear, because it'll show up in your feed. So there you go. Ads, etc. And if you buy something, that's what you'll see ads for. So they've gotten the algorithm thing down very, very well. Okay, let me see. How do I get this? Oh, there it is. Nope, wrong one. All right, Chris, let's say that you're next because I can see you there. I still can't see the whole page. What have you taken away from this that you will implement?
Just being more active on Facebook, engaging more, don't post and ghost, because sometimes I'll just throw something on there, leave it.
We lost you. You cut out. Are you in a dicey area? Oop, I think we lost you altogether. I can't tell. Robert Foster Jr. You're up.
All right. I was in the restroom until like 2 seconds ago, so I missed the question.
Just in terms of what have you gotten out of this so far today, this course, and then what do you think you will implement if you're gonna pick one thing to do?
Well, I definitely know that I need to be a little bit more consistent with my posts. I mean, I did feel like I was doing pretty good and found out that I'm not actually doing all that well according to this. So we'll definitely be swapping some things up.
Okay, great. Yes.
So you comment, you still have to like it, or it doesn't work.
I do both. So
One or the other.
right, I will like and not necessarily comment. I don't comment without liking. And I don't know if that makes a difference. Yeah, I mean, I am a liking machine, because to me, liking, it really doesn't mean necessarily that I like it. There's other, obviously, options emotion wise. To me, what it's doing is it's acknowledging to whoever posted it that I saw it. So that's how I view the like thing, is to me, it's just really an acknowledgement. And the same thing, if they respond to me, like say if I post something and they respond, if I don't have another, then it's the end of the conversation, I'm still going to hit like on their response, more again, just as the acknowledgement. So you're just acknowledging to people that you see them and see what they're doing, and you either like, you think it's funny, pisses you off, there's a little angry emoji. I mean, you have options galore. The hug one's very popular. So lots of options there to just acknowledge people that you're there and you're paying attention to what they say and what they do, right? That's really all it is. And it's the relationship. We're in a relationship business. Social media is just another tool to expand and maintain those relationships. Okay, I'm not seeing photos here, but Jackie, how about you? Is she there or she's gone? Might be gone. And then, are you there?
I think everyone that's on here. Oops, we lost somebody again. I think everybody that's on here is already.
I think so. So I think Jackie is off and Alfred is off. Everybody else.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So let me get this back to. There we go. Okay. So the success system, this is really just more of a recap, but it's a way for you to keep track of things. If you want to, you can just, obviously screenshot it, make yourself a list, put it in a notebook, whatever you like. But if you're doing it daily, how many of your conversations, right? So this is Ignite overall, not just social media. So the goal is in Ignite is 10 conversations a day, 10 contacts added to your database, 10 handwritten notes. That's ambitious. I usually try to do 3 a day, but you guys right now, if it's your only job, if you're a dual career, it's different. But if you're mainly focusing on this, 10 a day shouldn't be bad. So then your 10-5-1 social media. So that gives you goals there. And those could be per day, per week, again, whatever your level is on there. So those are just ways for you to keep track of all that. Obviously, the do not call list. If you get notified that somebody is on the do not call list, don't call them. Again, that comes up more if you're making cold calls, or from buying lists of calls, etc. If you're calling somebody you actually know, then I wouldn't think that would apply. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. So there's a good affirmation to have. And it's true, if you come from contribution, everything opens up, right? Because you're not in it. It's not what's in it for me, it's what's in it for you. And how can I be of help? One of the biggest things that I got out of COVID was the care call, of really just calling people to say, hey, how are you doing? Right? Nothing to do about business. I never asked somebody, and I actually do a lot of care calls still because of that. I never say, do you know anybody that wants to buy or sell a house? Do you have any referrals? Do you know I'm a realtor? I don't bring up real estate at all. the opening conversation is, if it's somebody I haven't talked to in a while, is, hey, I haven't talked to you for a while and I was just thinking about you. How are you doing? That's the whole big opening, and let them take it from there. And if it really is, you're interested in how they're doing, what have they been up to? What are their kids doing? What are their pets doing? If they've had COVID, are they better? Blah, blah, blah. So all of that kind of stuff, it's that you care about them and have the conversation. They will almost always turn it into, how are you and what is the market doing? Because people like to talk about real estate. So very often it'll come back around to that. But if you start out with really concern for how they are and what's new in their world and make it about them, your whole universe expands. It gets huge. Okay, so we're actually gonna skip the role play because I'm gonna have you guys work on your list here for a minute. So here's the conversation for today's calls. So calls are, you guys do calls for about an hour, hour and a half. So we're going to start them at 11. So we'll go till 12:30. And so I'm going to suggest one of two calls for today's topic. So one is, since we're talking about social media and your business pages, etc., and so these are people that you know, right, that you have in your phone that you want to talk to, and maybe didn't talk to, recently or like this morning already. Expand it out a little bit. And this one so if you're doing this call, it is probably somebody that knows that you're a realtor, right? And that you've got your license, etc., and are starting a business. And so with that group, it would be, hey, I just got out of this class. We're talking about our business page on Facebook and social media, or Instagram, whichever one you're using the most. And I want to know, I may revamp my site. I'm not sure yet, my page, but in the meantime, I'd like to get some feedback. Would you mind taking a look at it and letting me know what you think? That's all you got to do. And then they say yes, they say no, they say never call me again. I mean, it can go all kinds of ways, but it's a very easy and quick conversation to have. So you could knock out likely 10 of those pretty quickly. Now, if the conversation then expands, right? Because if they something beyond yes, no, they might say, hey, I'm happy to. And how's your business going? Right? That could be a response. If they say, yes, I'm happy to, and they just want to get off the phone, you sense that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Or it may evolve into an actual conversation. How are they doing? How are you doing? And now it becomes more of a care call, information call. Don't make it a 20-minute or half-hour call. Try to keep them brief so you can get more than one done in an hour and a half. So how does that sound to everybody as they plan? Yes, no, maybe? I'm seeing nothing.
Sounds good.
Okay. So then call number 2 is if, for example, you're either not really going to be doing much in the way of social media anytime soon, or it's just not your jam, then in that case, I would say just do a regular care call. So where it is really, and this will be very anti-Ignite, we'll see if I get scolded by the Ignite bosses. Margaret, if you're watching this, we're going off script. Don't rat me out, Margaret. But care calls can result in an enormous amount of business because you really are just showing somebody that you care. You want to know what they're up to. And again, it keeps you top of mind. So if you're not doing a social media kind of call, then make it a care call. So think of 10 people that you have not talked to in a while, like maybe in a month or so. And with those calls, and these are the phone calls that I make every day. And I try to do at least 3. And again, I don't even talk about real estate or bring it up. But my goal is I just start thinking or scrolling through my phone, or if you have an intentional list in your database, who haven't I talked to lately? And it may be a client, former client. It may be a friend, a family member. It doesn't matter. And there it is. Hey, I was just thinking about you and I haven't talked to you in a while. How are you doing? That's the whole opening there, right? And then just see where the conversation goes. And again, have that genuine interest in how they're doing. They almost always are going to reciprocate with, how are you doing? What are you doing? What are you up to? So if there's an opening there to say, hey, I'm just taking I'm taking a class. I got my real estate license. Awesome. If there's not, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Because what you also want to do, and this is also where now I'm going to get into the woo-woo. So again, police on the Ignite thing, don't pay attention here. Your intention and what you put out there will make a huge difference. So if you, before you make your calls, every day or write your notes or whatever, if you just really put out the intention to the universe or whatever greater power you want to call it, hey, I would like this activity that I'm about to engage in attract some business to me. And so my personal one is I attract people to work with that are fun and easy to work with, because that's really a great way to start the day, right? So that's what I start with. You've got the one that was given here, but I come from contribution. Yeah, whatever your personal thing is. But if you just kind of get that in your head first, that's your intention, then set it aside, make your calls. And again, it's the long game. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get an appointment.
Answering my knot, I'm like, I'm gonna get slammed.
Is somebody not muted? I heard somebody's background.
All right, we didn't prep to do all that, so I already had my 2 cents.
Can't see who it is because I can mute them if I can find them. There we go. Might be Diane. Okay. So any questions around that? Does everybody kind of have an idea of what kind of call you're going to make and the people that you are going to make it to? Yes, nodding heads maybe. Okay, so then I would say go ahead and start that. We'll reconvene here. It's still going to be active. I'm not turning anything off, but I will also make some calls. So it's basically almost 11 o'clock. So let's jump back in active at 12:30, and then we'll see how things went, do the wrap up and the follow up. All right, 1, 2, 3, go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sally.
Yes,
Hey there.
Hey.
When you come down to do the land clinic at Arvada, could you also do your Facebook one?
I
All right.
probably could. Sure. Just so you know, it's going to be almost identical to what we just did here.
But yeah, but still repetitive and
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm happy to, absolutely. But yeah, I'm happy to. I will give Charles and Elizabeth a call. On do land, Facebook, and we will get something on your calendars.
awesome. I would
Happy
really,
happy
today,
to do it. Yep, and in
Today's-
fact, I'm gonna save this outline because this actually was a good outline and it's much better than my scribble. That's my normal class. This was a little bit better.
well, I picked up a lot today. I'm still, of course, drinking from the fire hose, but this has given me a lot of, it's filled in all those gaps that I've been struggling with the last couple of days, trying to get my business page up and running.
Awesome.
So.
I appreciate that. And
yeah.
please do then tell Margaret, because then she'll forgive me for not necessarily following the script.
Oh.
She is so awesome. You guys have such a great office. I mean, it is, I'm working right now. I'm doing some stuff with Amanda. Love her to pieces.
Yep.
You guys just have, Charles is incredible. So is Elizabeth. You have some amazing agents in that office there.
Oh, yeah.
So you landed really, really well. They
Yeah.
are fantastic.
Very, very lucky to be where I am and very lucky to have had you today help me because
Thank you.
I think I've got 1.5 feet down now. I think I might be able to take this a little bit further today.
Awesome. How long have you had your license?
A little over 3 months.
Okay, awesome.
So,
And what brought you to KW there? What brought you to that office?
the managing broker, Bob, he helped us sell a house, my father-in-law's house.
Mhm.
And I'd always wanted to be in real estate, so I just kept in touch with him. And when I lost my job earlier this year, I said, okay, it's time, let's go.
Now,
So-
is Kevin actually the managing broker there, or is he just the OP?
No.
He is. Who's your managing broker?
Bob Isabel.
Bob, okay. And
Yep.
you know what? I'm not sure. I must have met him at some point. I've heard he's just fantastic, but I don't know if I know him personally.
Yep. Awesome individual. Definitely take some time and at least say hi. He's he's a character.
Fantastic. Well, and the reason I came, like I said, I used to be with Remax, years and years ago, and then I took a break to take care of my mom. She had Alzheimer's. And when that was all kind of settled, I took care of her for 4 years. And so when I knew I needed to get back to work, I realized I did not want to go into technology and go back to sitting behind a desk. So
Oh my God, you're from tech too?
yes, you would think I'd be a little more technology, wouldn't you? And yet I suck at it. I did marketing and finance. So I managed a lot of very smart people. And I managed a tech support department.
I'm from tech also. Diane and I chatted about our miserable experiences.
Yeah, our miserable experiences and loving every minute now that we get to be with real people with a sense of contribution.
Exactly.
And the people that you worked with, if they were anything like people I worked with, they were really smart at letting you know how smart they were.
That's my last position. I actually managed a group of engineers, you can imagine. And I'm not an engineer.
I can. It was my profession, and it's tough. It was a challenge every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
So this is, if you even remotely like people, this is a great business, and you can build a really, really good business. And it is a business. It's not a job.
Yep.
You're a business owner.
Yep.
When I was looking to renew my license then, because I had put it on inactive, then Kevin Wilson, by then, Kevin and I used to work there at Remax. Kevin had started the KW office up here. And first off, coming into the office here, I knew this was just my tribe. It was just, the culture and the people here are just amazing. The other thing is it was the only one of the major, brokerages that had a land division. Some of them Remax now is ramping one up. They're kind of, they always follow the KW model, right? So they're ramping one up. Coldwell didn't at all. I had no desire to go to the boutique because I want to work with somebody that knows what they're doing and keeps me out of court. So that was a goal. And so KW had a land division. And then Kevin Wilson is the best managing broker I've ever known. And I'd follow him anywhere. So he's amazing. And I think we were really excited up here when he and Val did take on Arvada and Castle Rock, because it really now gives us also places to recruit to send business to refer to. I think it's a great synergy between the 3 offices.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, and that's another reason is that there's 3 offices you can, because I live a little bit further south than most people. So I'm very close to Castle Rock.
Okay.
So it's kind of nice to have like both offices
Mm-hmm.
to be able to share and contribute to. So.
Yep. It's a good synergy. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And Gretchen in Castle Rock is awesome. And so, and I've done a lot of work. She also is part of KW Land and RLI. They've started a land division down there. Nancy Salmons, I think, is probably going to head it up.
Yeah.
So they're in a great position for that. But thing is, so is the Arvada office. Because so for example, I have been selling urban farms for a long time that a lot of, actual residential agents that only do residential don't even know exist. So, I just sold 2 parcels in Wheat Ridge that were 6, and one was 6 acres, one was 6.5. Right in Wheat Ridge, just south of I-70 off of Parfait. And the next one that we have, we were going to do it on that one, and they actually sold so quick we didn't get it to happen. But we were going to have Arvada come down for a tour because it was so close to you guys, and start learning more about those kind of properties. Because if you get those opportunities, you want to know either is it something that you do have the knowledge to do something with, or do you need to refer it? And either way is fine. But if you want to learn more about it, then there are resources for it. These 2 parcels were both fully conserved, and most people, as well as most residential agents, if they know anything about conservation easements, tend to think they're an automatic negative because they are an encumbrance on the property. That's not always the case. In these 2 parcels, one of them had a full alfalfa hayfield and a grass hayfield. It was truly an ag property. You could continue that. You could rebuild the house. You could expand the house. The only thing you could not do was subdivide it and develop. So you could not sell off 3 of the 6 acres and build another house. The same thing on the property across the street from it. It had a house that you could scrape, you could add to. It was actually a cool house. You could expand on. It was a wildlife sanctuary, and the couple that bought it do homeschooling and do kids stuff for it. So they like the perfect buyers for it. And again, the only thing restriction insignificant was you couldn't subdivide and develop. So what we used as comps were other properties of similar acreage that were in platted subdivisions, and there are some that could therefore not be subdivided and developed. So now we actually had some decent comps.
Oh,
And
wow.
so we did still give it a ding for the conservation easement in terms of pricing and condition. Both homes needed some work for sure. And yet both of them, we got over asking significantly. And this was just in the last month that we closed these. And it was great. And Colorado Open Lands was thrilled. And we have a great relationship with them anyway. And it was so much fun because they're fun and unique properties.
Yeah. Yeah. We own property in Hartselle.
Oh, I
And-
drive that way a lot because I do a lot down in Guffey.
Really?
Uh-huh.
What's
I
going
love
on?
Guffey.
Yeah. What's going on up there?
Oh man, Guffey is crazy pants. I have sold, well, I've had 3 buyers down there and 1 listing that I sold. I know an agent down there that only does listings, and she's amazing, Laura Owens. I would refer to her all day long.
Yeah.
But it's like this little gem that nobody knows about, and prices are decent, views are incredible, land is usable. It's a lovely little nut down there.
Wow. Well, that's kind of like Ariel was saying, I'm probably got another couple of years down here, and that's where I want to head.
Mm.
So I'm not sure I'm at the point to start working on land, but maybe.
Well, and the thing is, it takes a while to learn.
Yeah.
So you can always start the learning process of it now. And then you'll be surprised what starts showing up in your field of view and in your business. Right?
Yeah.
If you build it, they will come.
Oh, cool. Cool.
But it's a fun specialty, but it's, if you're gonna specialize in it, it needs to be because A, you love working with land, and land encompasses more than just vacant lots or even vacant land itself, right? But you've got vacant land, you've got developmental land. So transitional land in the city falls under that category because that's a whole different animal. Working with opportunity zones and everything else. You've got recreational land, so for hunting, etc. Obviously big up here. You have grazing lands, farm and agriculture. You've got equestrian. You've got all kinds of ranching, cattle, etc. So there's a whole realm of things. Even timber, which we don't have a lot of here, but in the Northwest, etc. There's so many aspects to land that you can even specialize within the specialization, right? So for example, I don't do a lot of hunting properties. Those I would refer to Bill Davis. And in fact, one of the agents down in Castle Rock called me a couple days ago about that they personally want to buy some hunting property. And so we talked about the areas that they were, I know enough to ask what, GMU do you want to be in, etc. And when they said some of the areas that they wanted to look at, that is out of my area of expertise. There's some counties I just don't work in. And so, for example, the area around Steamboat Springs is one of them. I know great people up there, but it's not a county that I have expertise in. And I'm not a hunter. So yeah, I know a lot of hunters, but I don't know which GMUs are going to be good for elk versus which ones are not. So I actually had them instead call Bill. And I said, Bill Davis is your guy for this because A, he has the expertise. B, he is a hunter. He knows the GMUs and he works the whole state. So rather than take that, it made more sense to give it away because it was in their best interest to have the better agent for it. And that wasn't me. So getting to recognize that is a big part of the whole land business.
Yeah.
We have agents from Highlands Ranch that come up into the foothills to do mountain property all day long. And yet they don't understand septic. They don't understand wells. They don't understand easements. They don't understand shared driveways. They don't know zoning. So there's all of this stuff. And so they don't necessarily do the best job that they could for their clients.
Yeah, I could understand that. I could see where that would be. If I was a client, that would be a little dicey to me. But
yep. And I think we'll start seeing again more of a shift here, and especially in the next year or two. We've had so many new people come into it in the last couple of years, and it's been very easy to get business, right? I mean, the last 3 to 5 years have been like shooting fish in a barrel. If you have a pulse and you're willing to talk to people and you don't ignore your clients, you will do really well. Consequently, though, there are KW does a lot of training. They do more training than you can ever even take advantage of. But what's good about it is it prepares you on how to build a business, regardless of the market, because it doesn't matter what the market is. There's always going to be people buying and selling homes, but it might mean that, we work differently. We have to work a little harder. We have to work a little smarter, and we don't just sit around and wait now for the phone to ring. So it is more active engagement. I'm doing more outbound calls and care calls and actual, handwritten notes and stuff than I have probably in over a year, with the intention of getting business out of it because things are shifting, right? So it's like we have a serious shortage of inventory. I need some more listings. So, and then most of my buyers come from that realm, unless they're coming from, out of state as a referral.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's definitely, I feel like I changed careers just at the right time because everything's going to be a little bit different going forward, but at least I'm in that and not having to learn the business in that crazy COVID. So
yeah, I mean, COVID was freaking nuts. I mean, I've never seen anything like it in all the years I've been in and around real estate. I've never seen anything like the market's been the last 3 years. And so, and it hasn't been really good for anybody. I mean, it's been obviously good for some sellers who made exorbitant amounts of money, but then they had to turn around and buy something. right?
Yeah,
So
well-
they were still gonna overpay there for the most part, but it hasn't been good for buyers, and for agents, it's been very stressful. You know, I mean, it's just, the more balanced the market can be, the better for everybody involved.
Yeah. We looked several times to try to move and it was exactly that. Yeah, we could make a ton off of our home, but
But where?
where
to
are we
go?
gonna go?
Mhm.
And even if we got something, it was way below what we really wanted. So
Yeah.
we ended up just not doing anything. And now that we've done that, it was probably I'm just glad I didn't fight through it and
Yep.
do it.
And you figure there's got to be a lot of people out there in that same position. I mean, obviously, so because we've had such a shortage of inventory. And so, you know, part of what we learn to deal with, and especially if you go to the masterminds, is always, you know, weekly masterminds is a great place to get these scripts, because everything is a script. The script is just what you say more than once, right? Is all there is.
Yep.
And so, you know, what is the script about the changing market? What is the script about why is it good to sell now versus wait till spring? You know, that's the conversation obviously we have up here a lot because we do have the weather. And there are actually some homes, if they have a north facing driveway, I'm going to recommend that, yeah, unless we get you on the market now, you should wait till,
Yes.
right? Because if you have a north facing driveway, it's just not going to go well. But overall, it's now is always better. And we actually did yesterday in our team meeting here in Conifer, we did a role play with Mike Sadowski, who's our in-house lender up here. He was my seller and I was the agent on overcoming objections. And it was specifically about why to sell now versus waiting till spring. And so one of the things I said that made him laugh, he goes, "Oh, that's the best one yet," was we were saying that we were at a price point of 650. So I said, well, you know, it really boils down to, you know, if you want to make 650 in the spring or do you want to make 650 now? Right. And he said, oh, well, that's a good way to think about it. So, yeah, but now is almost always better. There are certain cases where, again, I will recommend somebody wait, and it depends on their individual circumstances. I've talked quite a few clients out of selling actually, because it was in their best interest with what they had going on, not to do it then.
Yeah.
Right. And again, when they're ready to sell, say 2 years from now, I'm still going to need clients. So it's no problem. They go on the longer term pipeline.
Yeah. Yep.
There's always plenty of business. There is an abundance out there for plenty of business for everybody that wants it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure. I
You're
can't
welcome.
wait to read through your blog.
Oh, thanks. You have to let me know what you think.
Yeah, we're gonna run our pup to the vet. So
Okay.
again, thanks so much.
You're very welcome. And
Absolutely.
you should friend me on Facebook. Let's be friends.
I already have, and the alpacas. Oh, so many topics to talk about.
Okay, great.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you, Diane. Nice to meet you. Okay, how is everybody doing out there? Brandon, let's start with you, since you're at the top now. Are you there? Hopefully you're on a call. Robert Foster, how about you? Are you guys all fake and being there, or are you on the phone?
No, I just hung up the phone.
Awesome. How did your calls do?
Only about 4 people answered.
Hey, that's not bad. How many did you dial to get 4?
Probably close to about 15.
Oh, that's not bad. So about a third. Cool. And did you check out my business site, or did you do more of a care call?
More of a care call.
Oh, good. And how'd those go?
They went well.
Great. Okay. And for you then on the follow-up and everything else here, anything else you need to ask or want to say or have feedback on? All the above. Nope, you're muted again.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't know you were asking me directly on that one.
That's okay.
No, I think everything's pretty much squared away.
Okay, great. All right, anything else, let me know, and then I will see you in the next Ignite class. And
Alrighty, will do.
keep doing those calls. All righty.
Alrighty.
Sandy, you're up.
Hi.
Hi there.
Yeah, I got probably 5 people I actually got to talk to out of maybe 12 calls. I left messages, so that took a little time.
Awesome. That's great. And did you do care calls versus social media, or what'd you do?
Mostly care calls. A couple of them that I had on the phone didn't know that I had been trying to get my license, so I got to let them know, and
Great.
that felt good.
Very good. One of the things, and I think every agent in the world has been through it, is that even if we think we're being really good about letting people know, there's always somebody that doesn't. And the worst case is when you drive around on your street and your next door neighbor has a real estate sign up that isn't yours. So we've all had that happen too. So yep, make sure everybody knows.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
horrible conversation to have.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what about, do you have any additional questions or feedback or anything along those lines? Additional
No.
ahas?
It just seems like one person leads to another and you think of someone else. So even if you don't have their information, there's a way to get it. So
Yep.
It's amazing.
Fantastic. Yep, and especially when you're starting out, this is the time to build that database, right? Because you've got the time to do it. So as you're talking to people, throw them in there. Because even if you don't, like, for example, I don't do emails to people because I get inundated with so many. I just figure people think the same. But I do phone calls, I do texting, depending on their preferred method. And to be able to have all that information in there. And if you do have a big announcement to make to somebody, then you have your databases all ready to go. So the
Mhm.
more you can do on that, the better. And Command is a really great tool for doing that.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
Thank you.
And one thing also I forgot to touch on when I was doing some of my Facebook follow-up stuff while we were on the call section. So is birthdays, right? Because on Facebook, then you get notified when people that you know have birthdays. And so what I'll do with that is, especially if they're, if it's a close family or friend, I've likely already talked to them, right? If it's somebody I just know casually or whatever, I will tell them happy birthday on Facebook and do that. If it is a client or a former client or somebody that I think could at some point be a referral source, then I'll take it one step further and send them a note. So for clients, one of mine today was a former client. So I sent her a text just saying, hey, I saw on Facebook it was your birthday. I hope everything's going well. And we've actually had a little conversation going back and forth, which is great. So it can, again, just generate more conversations there. The other thing is too, you can use Facebook and such, not only to build business, but also think about building your profit share, right? So for example, one of, one of my clients actually is considering getting their license. So I can use Facebook when I see her post something that can lead to that conversation. I can call her and give her a message saying, hey, are you still thinking about doing this, or has something changed? How's it going? Right? Again, it's just another conversation. It's also a good reason to stay in touch with agents outside of KW, because they may decide, hey, we like what you're doing, or see you get training and all this kind of stuff. You have a managing broker that actually shows up, et cetera, because a lot of these companies don't. I might be interested. So there's all kinds of conversations to have. They're just conversations, right?
Yep.
Okay. How about Mark? Are you there? There you are.
Yes, Sam.
How did it go on your calls?
Mixed bags. I attempted 5 care calls, only got 1 answer, so I left messages with the others.
Okay.
And then I had to contact RPR, RE Colorado, and the membership agent for Summit Association of Realtors. So I spent most of my time working on my membership that comes on into effect on the 1st of October.
Great. All right. And the one call that you did get live, how'd that one go?
Not too bad. It was basically my brother. He had knee surgery, so just calling to check in on him on that. He just moved to Pittsburgh. But I mean, he's a good resource. He runs a couple of hospitals, so as his network expands, hopefully he'll be thinking of me.
Awesome. And one thing too, especially with people out of state, and with, immediate family members, it's a super easy conversation to have. It's like, bro, hook me up, right? But Colorado is such a popular place to move to, right, from other states. So he could wind up being, if somebody mentions to him, hey, we're thinking about moving to Colorado. Oh, let me have you talk to my brother. He lives there and he's a real estate agent. So you're right.
Yeah.
Long term, that could pay off very, very well that he lives where he does.
Hopefully, and he does a lot of recruits a lot of doctors. So if I could get into that stream, that would be awesome.
Perfect. And one thing to think of too, in terms of doctors in the medical profession, a lot of times, especially if they're with hospitals, the hospitals may have some type of reload program, right? Relocation program.
They usually do. My dad was a surgeon and was involved on board a hospital. So yeah.
So here's the thing though, they don't have to use that agent. So I just had one that friends of mine he's a doctor over here in Denver. They wanted to move. He got a job in Montrose with a hospital over there. So they were going to move to the Western Slope, and they've never bought a house before, right? He's a new doctor. So he said, can we just talk to you about how the process goes and stuff? And I said, absolutely. And I'd love to refer you to a good agent over there. And we did. And they bought a $900,000 house. I got a lovely referral check. And these are almost family members. I've known them, since they were little kids, at least the wife part of it. And I got to know they actually got really well taken care of, especially being first-time home buyers, because this guy who's a friend of mine over there, took super good care of them. So a lot of times they don't necessarily have to use that reload agent, right?
Yeah. And I know some realtors who've made an entire career out just handling relocation services for doctors and nurses for one hospital group.
Yep.
So,
absolutely. So you've got lots of options there, and your experience there could pay off as well, because you're already ahead of the game on the ins and outs of it.
hopefully, fingers crossed.
Okay, I will cross them.
Thank you.
Okay, and then Brandon, are you there?
Yeah, I was here before. I couldn't get off mute.
Okay.
For some reason.
And so how did your calls go?
Well, I got kind of bogged down, was working on a flyer for an open house I'm trying to do this weekend. I didn't get any calls out. I did get a couple of text messages and email out though. So, I mean, a lot of the people I know are that live in Colorado or ex-coworkers, and I just also know that they would not appreciate calls during the middle of the day and they're working. So, but they do respond to text, so that's good.
Which is, yeah, and part of that is knowing who you're talking to and what is their preferred method, right? There are going to be people that they really do prefer a text. It's less invasive. And so it's still a connection and a contact. So no worries about that at all. So
Awesome.
How many did you reach via that way that responded back?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
how many of the ones that the text that you sent out in the emails, how many responses back did you get?
Just one so far, but a couple of them I
Great.
know work in areas that we're not allowed to have cell phones, so I don't expect a response till they get done
Good.
with work.
Yep, perfect. All right, that sounds good. And then Bree, did you call anybody?
No, I was playing on my website instead. My page and teaching so that way you know.
Yep.
Oh, shoot, I think I need it, but,
You should-
responded to check out my new website. and,
Awesome,
different things, so
perfect.
waiting for their response.
That's good. It still counts. All right. Anybody, so we're actually done a little early, like by half an hour. If obviously if you want to keep making calls and stuff, it's only going to be to your benefit. Any last minute questions or anything else? All right, then I think we can call it done. I hope you guys have a great rest of your afternoon. Always feel free to call me or reach out if there's anything you think I can help you with. You don't need to be in our market center for that to happen. And then for you folks in Arvada, I will work on getting that set up. We'll maybe do a combination land followed by a Facebook one, kind of knock it all out in one day. And the Facebook one would be pretty similar, almost exact to what we've done here because it's the Facebook class I usually teach. But if you do have interest in that and seeing it again, or also if you have any interest in land, just let Charles or Elizabeth know. All right, have a great day and nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, where do I?